Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Hill. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have been following me for a while, welcome back. I am almost at 70,000 subscribers. I am so excited. Let's just get there. And I've almost hit my goal of 100,000 subscribers, which I will be reaching this year. I am so excited to continue to bring exciting content to you guys, and I'm so grateful to have you here along for the journey. Okay, so I am so excited to share that tonight I am going with my daughter to an energy enhancement session at the Mahi Wellness Center in Vancouver. So we are doing an overnight session with the EESystem. I'm really looking forward to having this time to just kind of like reset and recenter myself. There are so many different things that the EESystem can help with, and I'm going to be talking with the owner Dee. She's going to explain a lot more in depth about what the EESystem does and how it works. I'm so excited to try it out. There's a few different things I'm just going to go over quickly because I kind of wanted to just kind of make a note of some things that I think will have improvements on the other side of this. So number one, sleep. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to put 7. Mood, I'm going to put about a 7. Energy, I'm going to put a 6. Pain, I'm going to put a 6 as well, just because I have this particular pain that goes up the side of my neck over here and kind of goes into my head as like almost like a headache. And I find that it comes out more around my cycle, especially the beginning of my cycle, and I'm curious to see if there's any change around that. Also, I'm just going to write down in my journal right here what I am choosing to release through this session and what my intention is. And I'm also curious to see how this is going to help Safia as well. So excited that I'm able to bring Safia because the EESystem works really well for pregnant women and children. I am going to get us all ready to go for tonight, get us all packed up, and I'm going to take you guys with us. So come along for the ride. Hi. It's so lovely to meet you in person. I know we've chatted on the phone, but and you and I have talked about what the EESystem is. But
right.
Could you just introduce yourself and talk a little bit more about what is this system, what it does, and how it helps people?
I'm Dee, and I'm the founder of Mahi Wellness, and we're basically a wellness center that's located in Vancouver. And primarily what we offer is the EESystem. So what you're seeing behind me, the screen's right there, and we've got about 4 towers of that. That's the EESystem. That's the Energy Enhancement System. And I think a lot of people come in here and they're like, what is this? Like, I thought computers are bad and like, you know, it's spreading EMF frequencies, but how can this potentially be healing? And so really the EESystem has some really amazing science behind it. And the primary science behind the EESystem, and we've talked about this, is that it's the science of scalar frequencies.
Right.
So one of the things, you know, I firmly, truly believe in this right from the bottom of my heart, and I've seen this happen over and over again, is that we really are living in a time of a revolution, of a healing revolution,
I love that.
of a scalar revolution. And effectively, something like this, something like the EESystem and scalar frequency chambers, scalar energy chambers, have been around since the 1960s. It's just that they've been actively suppressed. So the very first scalar chamber was built in the 1960s by a French man named Antoine Prioret in France. And then one of the things he was finding is that when people were going into this scalar chamber, even if they had very chronic stuff, they were healing very, very quickly. And it doesn't mean that they were healing in one session over 2 hours. It's just that they were healing very quickly compared to like the level of chronic illness that they had. And so at the time when he presented this to the scientific community there was a real uproar. There was so much excitement because they thought that this could create a revolution in healing. And interestingly, he also managed to line up a bunch of funders. And at the time, the political establishment also was very drawn to this and was, you know, helping him line up these funders. But within about 6 months of that happening, all of the funders just dried up and they disappeared. And so, generally people that are in the alternative wellness space or the alternative healing space do believe that the technology was actively suppressed. So if you follow Tesla's technology or Rife's technologies, a lot of these technologies were actively destroyed, because otherwise we would have had this available to us about 100 years ago. So now your audience is probably wondering, well, what the hell is scalar, right? And really simply put, scalar is anything, any frequency that exists in the quantum field. Now that sounds like a bunch of woo-woo, right? Because I don't understand scalar, neither do I understand quantum field. So again, to really simplify it, scalar is anything that's faster than the speed of light. So the question is that, can we perceive it with our 5 physical senses or not? So anything that's slower than the speed of light in physics is something we can perceive with our 5 physical senses. So if you think about sound, for instance, sound, we can hear the vibration of sound, we can feel the vibration of sound when we're in a sound journey or when we're in a sound therapy session. With light itself, we can see light, and then we can feel light, and we can also experience different forms of light, including heat. But with scalar, the average human being cannot perceive this with their 5 physical senses, but it very much exists, just like microwaves or radio waves or EMFs that our phone uses.
It's unseen.
It's these unseen frequencies. However, because it exists in the quantum field, they've had to use quantum physics and quantum science to be able to program this into computers and deliver it in this way. The other aspect of scalar is that when scalar frequencies are created in a room in this way, effectively, and they're delivered this way, they create regenerative healing fields. So when our bodies come into these regenerative healing fields, effectively our bodies does what it's naturally designed to do, which is to start the process of healing itself. So a lot of times people think that it's the EESystem that's healing them, but it's not necessarily the EESystem healing them. It's that our bodies have the blueprint of coming into complete wellness and coming into coherence and homeostasis all by itself. But the question is, then why are so many people so ill, and why are their bodies not being automatically able to come into coherence? And that's partly because we live in a very, very artificial environment. We're not meant to live in environments like this with so much pollution, so many toxins in our food. And I think your audience might be really aware of this if this is a holistic channel. All of the toxins in our food, all the toxins in our water systems, in our air, in our environment, distorted frequencies like 5G towers. These are all frequencies that interfere with the body's ability to regenerate itself. And this is why I think this is the age of scalar, because we are living in artificial environments. Something like scalar enables the body to quickly come into coherence and do what it needs to do in a very short period of time. And the other thing is that, again, like, what is the science behind it? Like, how can a human body come into a room like this, experience an energy field, and then start to come into coherence? It's very simple. It's by a principle called bioresonance. And bioresonance is this principle where we believe and we know that everything is energy, and that we are energy beings as well. So when our energy being comes into an energy environment, it starts to come into harmony. We see the bioresonance principle in play even when we're in nature. Like when, I was
going to ask about that.
Yeah, like, we feel dysregulated. If we feel dysregulated and you go for a walk in the forest or by the ocean, and this is available in plenty in Vancouver where we live, is that you start to notice that your body's coming back into coherence and starting to regulate. And there's a lot of science that shows that Shirin-yoku, which is forest bathing, then helps release happy hormones, oxytocin, dopamine in the body, activates the serotonin, and it also calms the nervous system. So that principle is bioresonance. And where I've seen the biggest results are with Parkinson's, cancer, post-surgery chemoradiation, when we're talking about chronic stuff.
Right.
And then cognitive issues, like people's brain fog clearing. That's where the overnight sessions are really popular. Like very chronic pain, fibromyalgia, rotator cuff issues, neck issues, like people have very chronic pains. And then effectively they find relief within about 20 to 30 hours.
Wow.
It takes that long, but yeah, that's about 2 or 3 overnight sessions, or you can do 30 hours in daytime. So those those are some areas of found change, like the biggest changes. Interestingly, because a lot of your audience is mums and have young children, it's incredible for children, for their nervous systems, especially when they're developing. Oh, it's so incredible, because my daughter spends a lot of time in the E-system, and her natural state is that she is very sensitive and also highly anxious. And what I found with the E-system is that it's really assisted her in calming her nervous system and building her confidence.
It's amazing.
So it's amazing for children in development.
So good for kids. Kids are always going through so much change, and it's so important that to bring them back to their natural state of joy and harmony and peace within themselves. So it's really beautiful to hear that. I'm really excited to have Safia spend the night with me, because I think it's just going to benefit her and I so much. And I'm excited.
I'm curious to see like how you feel, because you've got 3 kids and that's a lot on your plate.
It is.
So I'm curious to see how your energy feels, how your nervous system feels, clarity, and then patience. Like people tell me that they develop so much patience.
I need
for
more
a certain period of time.
Yes.
And that all comes from balancing the nervous system.
Definitely. So. Oh, I'm so excited to see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us, and I'm so excited to get started.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much. So it's been a few weeks since I had my overnight session with Safia, and it took me a couple weeks to really process everything and to let everything sink into my body. The initial signs of it were I was definitely super tired for the first 24 to 48 hours afterwards. And then I thought it was really interesting that I started my cycle later on that week, and I had 0 PMS signs leading up to my cycle. And my first and second day, my cramps were substantially better than they normally are. The pain that I had in the back of my neck started tingling and vibrating immediately when I first started my session. And then it actually was tingling and vibrating and kind of hurt actually for the first, I would say 4 to 5 days. And then after that, all of a sudden it just cleared up and went away completely. And I haven't had any sensation or any pain since then. So that's pretty wild. I would say my sleep quality has been substantially better. Like it just is so deep. I'm still being like woken up all the time, but when I am sleeping, it is deep, good quality sleep. And then just overall, I think my mood has been really calm. I've had so much more patience with the girls. Safia is already such a well-tempered child, I would say, but with going through the 6-year change, there are a lot of emotions that come with that, and there can be like a little bit defiance in terms of like, you know, them wanting to find their independence and that sort of thing. But I have noticed with her that she's really wanted to listen and work together, especially with her sisters and everything. And I do wonder if the session had something to do with that, because I definitely feel like she's just much more level, much more herself, and it's really beautiful to watch and witness. I want to give a big thank you to Mahi Wellness for having us for the stay. I am so excited to have another session. And if this is something that you're interested in booking for yourself, I will share the links below so that you can do it as well, because this is something that I really believe is super helpful for people. And it's a beautiful way to connect even deeper to healing ourselves and being the best version of ourselves. So thank you so much for watching. Ciao for now.